university students, they could be coming over for a match of weeks.
So it might be all right in the new year, for example.
Yeah, and of course it's it's not a huge burden. It's not we're a fraction of the 8 or 9 million people that we pay for. So I think if you looked at it carefully and looked at the sectors that are really dependent, then that cost of furlough would come right down, because there are many sectors where people are starting, like the help to eat again restaurant. There are many sectors where people can do business again, and therefore perhaps they shouldn't have the furlough. But where you can really demonstrate that it isn't possible, then at a much reduced cost, it might be worth government considering that.
Really interesting to talk to you, Adrian. Thank you very much for that. And what do you think of Adrian's suggestion there that we keep the furlough scheme in some form going, but it would be more selective and it would have to be policed and only go to sectors that really need the help? Does that strike you as a good idea? 0345 6060 973. Jeremy is in Babington. Hello, Jeremy.
Hi there, Clive.
Hi, what would you like to say?
Well, first of all, I couldn't disagree with a single word Adrian just said. Like us, it is a very seasonal business. We have a small family business based on the North Staffordshire border. We supply all the leading tourist outlets across the whole of the UK. We export to France, to Germany, to America, to Japan. 30% of our sales are exports, and what we make integrated vehicles. And we supply places like Westminster Abbey, the Tower of London, Buckingham Palace, and all these outlets have been closed since just before Easter, which is our critical opening period for sales, and are only just reopening, and they're reopening with 15 to 10, between 10 and 25% of footfall, which means that our sales, which naturally at this time of year will be coming to an end anyway, so we have to survive between now and next Easter, assuming that inbound tourism starts to rebound and people in the UK get out and about and start spending in these fantastic outlets.
So you've got people on furlough at the moment, have you? And are you worried about what happens at the end of it?
All of us work in the UK, 2 weeks on furlough and 3 are on the flexible furlough scheme, working 3 mornings a week for 3 hours each. And that is, our sales are absolutely decimated.
So you want help till next spring, really?
We definitely do want help till next spring. We've taken a bounce back loan. We take the £10,000 grant, the rates grant, and we've taken the furlough scheme, but already that's starting to take off. We have a relative level income, but it doesn't change your fixed costs, so we still have to pay rent, we still have to pay lease, finance for our equipment, we use paying cards, and we've been going 27 years. We've lived through SARS, we've lived through foot and mouth, mad cow disease, which has all affected our customers. We supply lots of stately homes, and just today I was talking to the buyer of the Mary Rose exhibition, which is a key customer of ours, not our biggest customer, but a very important customer who buys from us year after year after year. And she said that just the last week they were up to 25% of attendance compared to the same time last year. And we're getting government data which is showing, as I say, that is typical between 15 and 25%. They have got half their staff furloughed. Every customer we have has got their staff furloughed, and these people are not going to have work to do until next spring. But these are not places that are going away. Westminster Abbey is not going to disappear. St. Paul's Cathedral is not going to disappear. The Tower of London is not going to disappear.
You're playing cards tonight?
I don't think, no.
No? I mean, I really hope they don't, but I mean...
It's 27 years, Clive.
Wow.
We have to be 2
Yeah. discussion as well. Jeremy, I've got to stop you there, but thank you very much indeed for that. I wish you well with it. And you've heard what Jeremy had to say there. We've heard some quite persuasive arguments, I would suggest, that it would be short-sighted, a false economy to stop the furlough scheme. Absolutely finish it at the end of next month. There needs to be something in its place. Do you agree? 0345 6060 973 632 on LBC. The headlines with Bill Overton.
Leeds City Council claims young people have contributed to a rise in coronavirus cases by attending house parties and large social gatherings. It's been added to Public Health England's list of areas of concern and could mean tighter restrictions coming in. Despite concerns about local outbreaks, a major study by the ONS is suggesting the rate of new infections in England remains unchanged. The former Australian Premier Tony Abbott's been appointed as an advisor to the UK's relaunched Board of Trade. The announcement follows days of pressure to deny him the role because of alleged misogynistic and homophobic views. The weather rain clear in Wales and southern England tonight. It's going to be chilly, clear skies with blustery showers for the North, Scotland or Northern Ireland, a low of 5 degrees.
The voices of LBC at the weekend. Andrew Castle.
What happened to the promise on June the 8th that every care home in England would receive regular testing for the virus? If you get old, do you not matter anymore? Does it matter if you look dumb, or if you're out to sea, or if you have a quality of life? God knows what is going on in Downing Street, but pull your finger out and sort the care homes out, because when push comes to shove, this will not be forgotten by the electorate.
Andrew Castle. Every Saturday and Sunday morning from 7 on LBC.
If you're looking for work, or your income has reduced, you may be able to get financial help from the government. Search Employment and Benefits Help. Eligibility criteria.
So I think that's the sound of a yodeler who's just bought a used car from Kazoo. He's done it completely online, and it comes safely delivered with a 7-day money-back guarantee. So he's got time to make sure he really loves it. Yeah, that's what it was. Alpine Fresh. Can you buy a used car with 7 days to decide? Kazoo, yeah you can. Kazoo, the safer way to buy a used car.
That's the sound of Mo zipping along in a free now black cab going to his meeting. And that's him zooming to town with friends in a free now private hire vehicle. Black cab, private hire vehicle. Black cab, private hire. Black cab, private hire. See, with black cabs and private hire vehicles together on ride-hailing app Free Now, you're in control. So however you roll, download Free Now and get 30% off your first 5 rides with code LONDON. Terms and conditions apply.
Daddy, can't you call a plumber?
Unfortunately, Pension B can't make you DIY confident, but we can transfer most old pensions together into one simple online plan that's jargon-free with no hidden fees, so you know you're on track.
Daddy, this is just like being at the seaside.
Be pension confident. Download the app or visit pensionbee.com to sign up.
Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. Capital at risk. When you call a Dell Technologies advisor, you get to talk to someone who isn't waiting for their turn to speak, but who actually wants to hear what you have to say, so they can provide tailored solutions that don't fit every small business. They fit yours. That's what it means to really listen. For advice on everything from laptops to the cloud, Dell Technologies recommends Windows 10 Pro for Business, the most secure Windows ever. Call an advisor today on 0800 169 1745 or visit dell.co.uk/advisor.
Buckle up and strap in, because the Premier League is back, and you can look forward to every up, down, twist and turn with the Sun's free 32-page guide. It'll be a hell of a ride, and don't forget VAR. Get your Premier League guide free inside the Sun on Sunday. This is LBC with Clive Ball. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet at LBC. Text 84850.
And at the moment we're talking about the furlough scheme and what happens when it comes to an end at the end of next month. Should it in some way be extended? Quite a divide in terms of the messages coming in here. Jan says, pay people to not work. You must be joking. No, it has gone on long enough. Another one, Amanda says, I've been out of work since week 2 of lockdown. People have quickly simply forgotten those that have already lost their jobs. I do not qualify for any benefits. I've had no support from the government at all. The furlough scheme should cease as planned, and companies need to man up and decide on their workforce. Alf in Halifax, as a retired taxpayer, it would be intolerable to me if businesses were to continue to be supported to 70% of wages. The businesses should pay at least 60% of the costs. I'm losing too by low interest rates. Max says, I work in an entertainment industry, Clive, and we get zero. That's a flavour of the messages coming in at the moment. 0345 6060973 for your view. And we'll take more calls in a moment. First, we'll talk about Leeds, which has been added to Public Health England's watch list of areas of concern for COVID-19. The City Council says the latest data suggests a lot of the cases are in different areas, meaning they may be linked to social interaction and leisure activities. LBC's Vicky Smith has the latest from West Yorkshire.
People are being told that this is a pivotal moment for combating the spread of the virus, and unless the infection rate does start falling, then we might be seeing more local restrictions coming in. So the council, like you say, has confirmed that Leeds, the third largest city in the UK, has been added to the Public Health England watch list of areas of concern after a rise in coronavirus cases. The council have emphasised, though, that being on this list does not mean that any local lockdowns are being brought in at this time, but say there will be no alternative if the rates don't go down. The council leader, Judith Blake, told us they are seeing a change in trends with COVID-19 cases rising, particularly in young people, those between age 18 to 34.
We are seeing a slightly different pattern emerge. So whilst we do still have some clusters in some of our communities, we're seeing an increase amongst young people right across the city. This appears to be in keeping with other parts of the country. So we're asking all young people to be especially vigilant. If the numbers do continue to creep up, then we're very likely to be facing additional restrictions in a couple of weeks' time.
And the next couple of weeks are going to be tricky, with the majority of schools returning next week in Leeds, and there's 5 universities all starting terms this September in the city, with students coming from all areas of the country. And the council is directly appealing to young people now to be careful, saying they also have particular concerns about house parties. I was out in Leeds city centre earlier asking students whether younger people are taking more risks.
Yeah, I've seen around, like, where I live in Headingley, there's loads of parties and stuff, so obviously everyone can't go out anymore, so people are just gathering together, so it will definitely be a rise. It's a bored. They've been in lockdown for so long, they just want to meet up with people, and obviously people moving in from, like, uni, going from homes, they're going to come over and think, oh, we haven't got freshers or anything, so we may as well have house parties.
I've heard a lot about house parties. I guess that could probably, I imagine it's going to rise in September when all the students are back. It kind of sucks for us because it's taken a lot away from our university experience, but I'd rather be safe and keep others safe.
It's kind of known, isn't it? You see people down the river and stuff, but I mean, in some respects, I think a lot of people are quite worried.
The leader of the council, Judith Blake, told me they are working with police to tackle these house parties, with several of those new heavy fines also being issued to organisers this weekend. The latest 7-day infection figures show Leeds is having a rate of 32.4 cases per 100,000 people, and people who live here are being told that this moment is really important if they're going to tackle the spread of the virus any further.
LBC's Vicky Smith reporting. Back to the furlough scheme then, and Nikki in Broxbourne. Hello, Nikki.
Hi, Clive. How are you?
Hi, I'm very good. What would you like to say?
I was furloughed for 4 months, and then I lost my job in July, and I've now gone on to job seekers allowance. That is all I get from the government. I've applied for jobs. There's nothing out there. I'm in the hospitality trade, in the catering trade. There is just nothing out there. No one comes back to you anyway. And I'm worried. There is no support for people who have been made unemployed for no fault of their own.
Well, there's going to be a huge number, unfortunately, and it's really, really worrying. Job seekers allowance, it's not enough to live on, really, is it?
£145 a fortnight. I actually had an interview yesterday with them over the phone, and basically I get 13 weeks as what I was employed to do as a catering manager, and then after that, basically, I basically have to take any job that they suggest. So it could be less money.
Well, they may not have one.
Yeah. And they can also, if you don't go for interviews, they deduct your money. But I'm just worried, like I say, £145 a fortnight. I don't qualify for universal credit.
And what happens in terms? Well, of course, yeah, absolutely, very scary. What happens in terms of rent or your mortgage, or where you live?
Touch wood, I'm hoping that I've got mortgage insurance. They'll pay for it, but we all know insurance companies. I'm waiting on their yes or no.
Good luck with that. Yeah, I really hope it works. But I'm always slightly sceptical about insurance like that. But is there much hope in the hospitality industry? I mean, my local high street, the restaurants are all full now, and the help to eat, whatever it's called, that did actually work. So is there any chance of hospitality? Yeah.
Thursday, Friday, you went past the same restaurant and they were just dead. They really were dead.
So you're not hopeful at the moment?
No, again, they probably had all their staff already furloughed and then brought them back, and maybe still had some on furlough or reduced their staff. But yeah, I mean, I see jobs, I apply for them, and it's continuously the same jobs that you just keep coming up on websites and agencies, etc. So it's very, very limited. And like I said, I'm worried for my future. What happens if I don't get a job? How am I going to live? I mean, hopefully I'll get my mortgage paid, but I've still got a car, still got council tax, gas, electricity, things like that. I need to live, I need to eat.
It's difficult, yes, absolutely. I guess possibly council tax is very expensive, and there aren't many ways of reducing it, but that's always a possibility, I guess. Nikki, good luck. Thank you very much for that. I wish you well with that. Miriam in Lewisham, hello.
Hi, Clive. It's an absolute pleasure. I haven't spoken to you in years, so here I am.
Where have you been? What would you like to say?
Well, we have a small family business of 4 of us. We have a very unusual job in that we dye, print, paint, distress fabric and costume for film, theatre, ballet, opera. And we've had absolutely no work since March the 16th. We've been very lucky on furlough. Because we're a limited company, we've been lucky, not so much for my husband and myself, but our children who work with us, who are 28 and 30, they're not little children, they still have to manage to live. If we could diversify, it would be fantastic.
Can you? Have you thought about that?
Well, we have. We're trying to get an online shop up and running, but that costs quite a lot of money to sort. And to try and supply the materials that we use. So instead of people going to 10 or 20 shops, they'll just come to one.
So what kind of help do you think you need then?
Well,
what would work?
I suppose not
keeping you afloat for
just to keep us afloat, because I don't quite know how long we're going to be able to last, obviously. Theatres are not going to be up and running for well into next year. We were booked to do a couple of big shows, one for Regent's Park Theatre, well that's not going to happen for a while, a new production, and film things have started to go back, but we mainly get our work on new productions, although we look after several shows in the West End. We do work for Matilda and Harry Potter, but of course there's no new cast changes or anything, because they're not open, you know.
At some point, though, it is going to happen, isn't it? I mean, I know a lot of people in the theatre world who've lost their jobs, but maybe sometime next year they're all going to be rehired. They're going to be needed.
Hopefully. I mean, as I say, we're very lucky because of being a limited company. There's not many of us that are, and of course the entire theatre world runs on freelancers who've had no help at all.
Indeed. All right, well, good luck, Miriam. Thank you very much for that. Talking about the furlough scheme, and should it be extended to help out at least those sectors that really cannot keep going, probably until next year. 0345 6060 973 is the number. And this is LBC 646, the news headlines now with Bill Overton.
Public Health England's added Leeds to its watch list of areas of concern as COVID infections in the city rise. The former Australian Prime Minister Tony Abbott's been appointed to a role on the UK's Board of Trade. And Virgin Atlantic's confirmed it's cutting another 1,100 jobs. The weather, rain clearing Wales and the south, leaving clear skies tonight. Chilly though, more blustery showers.